My ex-girlfriend always told me I had a scarcity mindset. She said if you want to be a millionaire, you have to act like one, and the universe will provide the rest. Well, she was right. She acted like a millionaire for exactly one night using my life savings, and the universe, it provided her with a pair of handcuffs and a felony record. Be careful what you manifest. The text message didn't wake me up. The fraud alert from Chase Bank did. It was 11:45 p.m. on a Tuesday, and I was in a hotel room in Chicago for a tech conference. The notification read, "Transaction declined, $12,500 at Prestige Exotics, Miami. Are you attempting this transaction?" I stared at the screen, rubbing the sleep from my eyes. I live in Seattle. I drive a Honda CR-V. I certainly wasn't renting a Lamborghini in Miami. I hit no, assuming my card had been skimmed at the airport. I was about to roll over and go back to sleep when my phone rang. Not the bank. It was a FaceTime request from Vanessa, Elena's BFF. I declined it. Then a text came through. "Pick up. It's an emergency. Elena is in trouble with the venue owner." I sat up. Elena, my girlfriend of 3 years, was supposed to be at her parents' house in Oregon for a mental health week, or so she had told me. I called Vanessa back. The camera opened to chaos, flashing blue lights, shouting, and what looked like a shattered glass sculpture in the background. Vanessa was hyperventilating. "Mark, you need to wire the venue owner 20 grand right now, or he's pressing charges. He's locking the gates." "Who is pressing charges? Where are you?" "The launch party for Lumina. Look, the check bounced because you locked the account, and now the owner says we're trespassing." That's when the camera panned, and I saw Elena. She was wearing a dress that I recognized from a magazine she'd left on our coffee table, a dress that cost more than my first car. She was screaming at a police officer while holding a magnum of champagne. "Put the phone on the owner," I said, my voice dangerously calm. A large man with a thick neck grabbed the phone. "Listen here, buddy. Your wife signed a contract for this estate for the weekend. 15,000 rental fee, plus she just threw a bottle of Dom Perignon through a 5,000 art installation because I cut the power. I want my money, or she's going to jail for property damage and fraud." "She's not my wife," I said, "and I'm not paying you a dime. Let the cops handle it." I hung up. Then I opened my banking app, froze every single shared asset we had, and booked the first flight home. But not before I saw the pending transactions I'd missed while in meetings all day. The total was over $45,000. Let me rewind, because you need to understand how a smart guy like me ended up in a nightmare like this. I'm 32, a senior systems architect. I make good money, but I live below my means. I drive an old car, I cook at home, and I invest aggressive amounts into my 401k. My goal has always been early retirement and a paid-off house. Elena, 29, was the opposite. She was beautiful, charismatic, and completely allergic to the word budget. When we met, she was a yoga instructor. Then she was a life coach, then a crypto consultant. She bounced from passion project to passion project, always funded by her parents or credit cards she hid from me. We moved in together a year ago. I laid down the law. I pay the rent and utilities. She pays for her own car, her phone, and her personal expenses. We had one joint account for groceries and date nights, which I capped at $1,000 a month. The trouble started 6 months ago when she met Vanessa and her group of manifestation queens. These women were the definition of toxic positivity. They were all involved in some vague high-ticket sales coaching pyramid scheme. They convinced Elena that the only reason she wasn't a millionaire was her scarcity mindset. They told her she had to spend money to attract money. Suddenly, our apartment was filled with crystals, vision boards, and designer shopping bags she claimed were investments in her personal brand. She pitched me her new idea, Lumina. It was supposed to be a luxury lifestyle agency. She wanted me to invest $50,000 as seed capital. I sat her down and looked at the business plan. It was written in crayon, figuratively speaking. No revenue model, just vibes and networking events. I told her absolutely not. I told her if she wanted to start a business, she needed a loan from a bank, not her boyfriend's savings. She called me dream-killing and low vibration. She cried for days, saying I didn't believe in her. Vanessa and the other queens filled her head with garbage, telling her that a real man would empower his woman to be a CEO. I thought the issue was dead. I thought she went to Oregon to cool off. Instead, she had waited for me to leave for my conference. She had stolen my checkbook from the safe, which she apparently knew the combination to, forged my signature to rent a mansion in the hills for a soft launch, and used my social security number, which she had from when we applied for our apartment, to open a rapid approval credit line. I landed in Seattle at 7 a.m. and drove straight to the police station where she was being held. The scene in the waiting room was pathetic. Vanessa and two other girls from the manifestation group were there, still wearing their gala dresses, looking hungover and smeared with mascara. When Vanessa saw me, she actually had the audacity to roll her eyes. "Finally," she huffed. "It took you long enough. Bail is set at $5,000, and we need an Uber. They impounded Elena's car." I walked right past them to the desk sergeant. "I'm here to give a statement regarding the fraud case involving Elena Thorne." The girls went silent. "You're not bailing her out?" Vanessa asked, her voice trembling. "No," I said, turning to face them, "and if you three knew she was using stolen identity funds to pay for that party, you might want to call lawyers too." Vanessa turned pale. I spent the next hour with a detective. I showed him the fraud alerts, the lack of authorization, and the forgery on the checks the venue owner had emailed me copies of. I made it crystal clear. This was not a misunderstanding. This was theft. When I finally saw Elena, she was in an orange jumpsuit, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. She looked through the glass, relief washing over her face. "Baby, oh my God, get me out of here!" she cried into the phone receiver. "It was all a mix-up. The investors were supposed to wire the funds today to cover the checks. I was doing this for us. Once Lumina takes off, we'll be billionaires." "There are no investors, Elena," I said. I spoke to the detective. "You forged my signature." "I was manifesting!" she screamed, slamming her hand on the table. "I had to act as if the money was already there. You don't understand how the universe works." "I understand how felonies work," I replied. "I'm not posting your bail. I'm not paying the venue, and I'm certainly not staying with you." "You can't leave me here. My parents won't pick up." "Yeah, about that. I called them." Her face dropped. Her parents, decent people who worked in education, had been shielding me from the truth for years. When I called them from the airport, her dad broke down. Apparently, this wasn't the first time. Before I met her, she'd racked up $30,000 on their credit cards trying to become a travel influencer. They had mortgaged their home to pay it off to keep her out of legal trouble. They cut her off financially 2 years ago. "They aren't coming, Elena," I said. "Your dad said he's done enabling you. He said you need to hit rock bottom." "You're a monster," she hissed. "I did everything for you. I wanted to be a power couple. Vanessa was right about you. You're small. You're average." "I may be average," I said, standing up, "but I'm not a felon, and I have an 800 credit score. Goodbye, Elena." I walked out. It felt cold, sure, but hearing her try to manipulate me, even while sitting in a jail cell, killed whatever love was left. The fallout was messy. I returned to our apartment and found it unrecognizable. She had sold my gaming PC, my collection of vintage guitars, and even my espresso machine. She sold them on Facebook Marketplace 2 days before the party to get cash for the goodie bags, which contained cheap crystals and branded water bottles. I filed a police report for the stolen goods. I changed the locks. I contacted the landlord and had her removed from the lease due to her arrest, a clause I was very thankful for. 3 days later, Elena was released on her own recognizance. She showed up at my door, banging on it at midnight. "Mark, let me in. I have nowhere to go. Vanessa kicked me out because I owe her money for the catering." I spoke through the doorbell camera. "You have a restraining order, Elena. If you don't leave, I'm calling the cops again." "I'll sue you," she screamed. "I have rights. We were common law married." We weren't. She sat on my porch for 2 hours crying, switching between begging for forgiveness and screaming that I was a narcissist. Eventually, a police cruiser rolled by, and she ran to her car, which she had somehow gotten out of impound, likely by scamming someone else. The next few weeks were a barrage of harassment. Vanessa and the Manifestation Queens started a smear campaign on Instagram. They posted videos claiming I was financially abusive, that I trapped Elena in a poverty mindset, and that I abandoned her in her time of need. It went viral locally for about 48 hours. I had strangers DMing me calling me a scumbag. I didn't respond. Instead, I posted one photo. The police report detailing the identity theft, grand larceny, and forgery charges filed against her, with the caption, "The truth is public record." The smear campaign stopped instantly. Vanessa deleted her account. 2 months later, I got a call from Elena's public defender. They wanted to know if I would drop the charges in exchange for a payment plan. "She has no money," the lawyer admitted, "but she's willing to sign a promissory note to pay you back $500 a month for the next 10 years. I did the math. She stole, spent, destroyed nearly $60,000 of my net worth in one weekend. $500 a month wouldn't even cover the interest if it were a loan. "No deal," I said. "I want full restitution or we go to trial." "Sir, if she gets a felony conviction, she'll never get a corporate job. She'll be ruined." "She's not looking for a corporate job," I told him. "She's a CEO. She can manifest a solution." I hung up. It's been 6 months now. The legal process is slow, but the result is inevitable. Elena pled guilty to a lesser charge of fraud to avoid prison time. She has 5 years of probation and a court order to pay me back every cent, though I doubt I'll ever see it. The most insane part? I checked up on her recently out of morbid curiosity. She's living in a studio apartment with 3 roommates. She's working as a waitress. But on her Instagram, she's still posting. She rebranded. She's now a resilience coach. Her bio says, "Surviving toxic relationships and rebuilding my empire from scratch. DM for mentorship." She's selling a PDF course on overcoming betrayal for $49.99. I finally blocked her for good. The financial hit hurt. I lost a chunk of my savings, and my credit score took a temporary dive while I disputed the fraudulent accounts. I had to testify against the woman I thought I was going to marry. It was humiliating and exhausting. But last week, I closed on a small house. Just me. It's a fixer-upper, not a mansion in the hills. I'm painting the walls myself. My neighbors are normal, my bank account is secure, and when I go to sleep at night, I don't have to worry that the person lying next to me is secretly plotting to leverage my future for 5 minutes of Instagram fame. If there's a lesson here, it's this. If your partner talks more about vibes and manifesting than they do about budgets and hard work, run. And if they ever ask you to fund their dream because you just need to believe in them, check your credit report immediately. You can't manifest integrity. You either have it or you don't. And I paid $60,000 to learn that lesson, but honestly, it was cheaper than a divorce.